The new sovereign faces the challenge to make Britons comfortable with the knowledge he has now taken the place of the much-beloved Queen Elizabeth II, according to a royal commentator. King Charles III acceded to the throne after his mother, due to her longevity, shaped the figure of the monarchy in Britain and became the personification of the role of sovereign, royal expert and journalist Jonathan Sacerdoti said. While detailing which issues the new monarch likely needs to tackle over the next few years, Mr. Sacerdoti told Express.co.uk, a further challenge for King Charles would be just about his own reputation and personality, which is not to say there is a problem with them necessarily, but we are all very used to the late Queen. For most of us, she personified the actual role, and because we have only ever known her, and I think it's very difficult to, effectively, replace her. I don't think his job is to replace her literally, although he is taking the role she had. I think his role is to cut his own version of it and to make us comfortable with that. So I suspect that's another issue he and the palace will be thinking how to do, but I have no reason to think they won't manage it, because they are masterful at creating the right appearance and impression, doing the right act. They are usually very plugged into what the nation would want them to do and not to do. So I think we will see that mapping out over the coming years, how King Charles chooses to present himself differently to Her Majesty the Queen. And it won't be a criticism of how she did things, it will be an opportunity, rather, to show that there were things she couldn't do, especially at the end of her reign with her age and health, that Charles can do now as an albeit old but younger monarch in a new era. It is a good moment to make some changes. Mr. Sacerdoti noted Elizabeth II, whose reign lasted for 70 years, was a monarch who embraced changes to keep up with the modern times right to her last years on the throne. He said, she did make changes even right until the end, even making appearances via video link. It was quite revolutionary, actually. They were made out of necessity because of COVID, but it became an exciting privilege to meet the monarch by video conference, which I think had we thought about that 10 years ago it would not have seemed quite as special as meeting her in person. So we have always seen them making changes according to circumstances, and I think now he'll be able to make a few more of them. Other challenges Mr. Sacerdoti thinks King Charles will need to deal with following the death of his mother are the Commonwealth and the overseas realms. The expert said the Queen saw the Commonwealth flourish during her reign and leadership as its head, and it is now to be seen whether Charles will be able to keep the Commonwealth strong and together as Her late Majesty did. Mr. Sacerdoti added, similarly there is the idea that some countries may wish to get rid of their association with the royal family now. One challenge for him is that I think the Queen was more popular than the monarchy, broadly speaking, and that's something he will have to tackle going forward, and it is particularly apparent outside of the UK. King Charles met with Commonwealth leaders and Baroness Scotland, the group's Secretary-General, as well as with High Commissioners and their spouses from the realms just days after the death of Elizabeth II. These meetings were seen as an indication of the King's new role not just within the UK but also in the Commonwealth and the other 14 nations where he became head of state. King Charles acceded to the throne less than 2 months ago, following the passing of Elizabeth II at Balmoral Castle. The new sovereign, who will be welcoming his second British Prime Minister next week at the end of a new Tory leadership contest, will be crowned at Westminster Abbey on May 6, during a ceremony expected to be respectful of tradition but in line with modern times. Among the details shared so far by Buckingham Palace, it was announced Queen Camilla will be crowned next to the new king.